Hi everybody, Lewis Weber here, and during this segment we are going to review some of the new ways of opening TPS, saving TPS, and it's pretty exciting because it's using some of the latest technology for web-based programs and continues forward some of the most important database features of TPS. So let's get right to it. You can see here that I have sent myself an email. I've shared a TPS file, and here's the file that I saved, and it's this demo, TPS 798 demo. You're going to receive a file that says something like TPS, and then your name will be in it. So you'll know that's your official file for this year. So last year and years prior you would receive a template that you would then customize in some way. Now you will be entering your student's name, but you'll be entering those names in the official file that is been associated with you and your classroom, and it's going to be saved in the SharePoint folder. So I want to make those points multiple times because in prior years you had this file, this TPS file that was saved somewhere on your laptop and we never really quite knew where it was. Now it's going to be, you're going to use this file that is in SharePoint, and you're going to be essentially checking it out of the library, entering data, and then putting it back in, and putting it back in the library means saving it. So that way the official file for every teacher and of course for the students within those TPS files are all stored in the SharePoint folder, Oak Park's official SharePoint folder. So here is an example of one, and when you receive yours you'll just click on it and it opens up TPS online. How about that? And so you can see it's online because at the very top here you can see here's my Outlook tab, and here is Sarasota Schools My SharePoint. So we're looking at TPS data through Chrome, and you can see that Chrome is highlighted down here, which is pretty exciting for me as a developer of these programs, that we are now using a browser to enter data into TPS. And so what we have here is the ability to very quickly enter data. Now this online version doesn't have the full functionality of the desktop app, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. It's right up here in the top. The desktop app is your Excel software that's on your laptop. Now you're not going to be storing your TPS file on your laptop. You're just going to use the software that's on your laptop to look at it. Okay, well let's see what we got here. It looks pretty much like TPS, and it's been formatted to sustain that look and feel. And it's pretty much just like you've always known it. You go to each cell and you enter data as you need to. Let's get rid of that P because it's not supported in this example so much because I've copied these files. So let me go to a fresh page. Nothing like a little burp in the demo here. So if I want to use the P, it still works just as it's supposed to. And then of course I can go back and change the values that maybe were not perfect, or I could do it the other way. If I take the P out, as you know, you can go around and enter where the student was not perfect, and then you can enter the P, and it populates all the unused cells with 4s on the left here for increasing targets and 0s on the right. Okay, so that's how TPS looks, and it's looked like that for a long time now. The big difference here is that look at this up here on the top. It's already been saved. In fact, if I go to File, there's only the Save As, and again, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do a Save As because then it's not the official file any longer. So if you're using the online version, with each keystroke that you make, I'm just going to scroll down to, let's say, this spot right here. Okay, I'm going to enter a 2 right there, and you'll see as soon as I press enter, it's saving, and then it's saved. So we have a lot of data integrity using the online version because every keystroke automatically gets saved to the official TPS file in SharePoint. So for me, that's pretty good, and I think for you too, because over the years, teachers, I'm going to say parents, teachers sometimes were disappointed when they had entered data and it couldn't be found. Well, there were a couple reasons for that. Sometimes the file was saved as a copy somewhere and we didn't know where it was, and other times the file wasn't properly saved, and there were a variety of reasons. It's not important to list them now. What's important to know is that when you're using this online version, all your keystrokes are automatically saved, so it's a great way to support data integrity. Okay, everything else here still works. You can type in whatever you want on the right. We're going to talk about this another time. This is where you're going to put Panther pause here, and the student earned 4 pause during recording period 3. We'll talk about that another time. But what I want to do is show you now the important next step. So you've entered your data, but that's all you can do. Well, there is one other thing I'm going to show you later on, but it's primarily for data entry, fast and furious data entry. But what if you want to do some graphing, or what if you want to print some data sheets? You can't do it in the online version because it doesn't have the full functionality of Excel. It's not a TPS issue, it's an Excel issue. It's not designed for that. So Excel automatically supplies this menu option, Open in Desktop App. So let me go ahead and do that. I just click on it. And then what it's going to do is open the TPS file. Just wait for it. And there it is. And oh, look at that. The enable content bar, always enable. That means that the macros that make TPS work will be operational. If you understood that, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Everything works. Excuse me, everything works, and it's just a regular version of TPS as you know. Now you can see up here that's been shared. That's what that little icon up on top is. Okay, so now we got the full power of TPS, and you can do whatever you want. You can print data sheets, and let's put a date that there is no data for, and I'm going to find a month way in the future here because there's already data there. So let's say April 12th. Somebody use that. So when I go to my data sheet, I'm going to put April 12th, and that will make all those numbers disappear because it's an unused data sheet. So okay, so now you can print, you can do whatever you want. It's just like regular TPS, and you can even enter data. So I'm going to enter data. So we got a 1 and we got a 2 and maybe a 2 and a 3, and then I'm going to enter the P. Okay, now these data, because I'm now using the desktop app, these data are not automatically saved. I have to save it. And so I can use the save icon, or I can go File and Save. I just prefer to use the little savey icon up there. So I'm going to click on that. And so now you can see it's thinking and it's saving. And it tells you it's saving, obviously, because it's right up here. Now, why wouldn't you just want to use this version of TPS all the time? The reason is, even though right now in this demo it did not take very long to save, sometimes it does. As the network gets busier at various times of the day, or just sometimes it's slow, and who knows why it's so slow, it takes longer to save data that you've entered using your desktop app. And so you have an option. If that isn't a problem, if you're finding that the saves are fast enough for you, then you can continue to use the desktop version. Either way, you can use online or the desktop version to enter data, but only can you use any of the graphs or any of the data sheets and home notes for TPS if you're using the desktop version. Now there is an exception to that I'm going to show you. So my data are saved. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to click on resume editing, and here we are back in the browser version of TPS. Kind of cool, right? You can kind of flip back and forth. You close it and you go back to the online version. If you want to print something, you open it in the desktop app, you do your printing, and then you close it, and then you're back here. And you can just leave this open on your computer. You can leave the desktop, the online version open because files are automatically saved. Data are automatically saved. It's your choice. You can close it if you want. Here's another thing that you can do. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold my mouse down. That's not what I want to do. This is the one. I wanted to just drag this down. I'm going to put it right here. So here, this demo file is now on my favorites bar. And you just hold your mouse down and drag it to the bar, and it just sits right there. Or you can save it to the desktop. And so that way, anytime I want to enter data, I just click on that like I would any of these other websites that are on my favorites bar. Okay, I want to show you now something else, and it'll be the last thing for this segment. There is a special feature that I put in so that you can copy a home note in the online version. It's really the only other thing that you could do with the online version, because all these other graphs and tabs are disabled. So if you go to the home note, you'll see that I have a little message here for you. If using Excel online, which is what we're doing right now, press the Shift and the Windows key and S. Now the Windows key is that kind of parallelogram looking thing that's on the bottom left of your keyboard. We don't use it too much, but it allows some special functions. So I'm going to make this display a little bit smaller so we can see this box around. Now as I scroll down, you can see I have alternating colors for each student, so that way you know where that student's home note is. So look, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm pressing the Shift, I'm pressing the Windows key, and I'm pressing the S. It makes the screen go to a darker color, and it gives me this click and drag capability. So I'm now going to click and drag, and what that does is it copies the home note to my clipboard. And then what I can do is create a new email to a parent and just paste that picture in to the email, and it's the home note for that day. Of course, I have to identify which day that I want up on the top here. Okay, let's get rid of that. And this is the snipping tool. So you snip a picture out of the display, and you can paste it, and that way you don't have to open up the desktop app. Now, if you did want to, if you find that to be more convenient, you just click on that again, and look how you do it. So you just click on open in the desktop app, and TPS will open up that way, and here we are, boom. And then what you can do is go to your home note, and to the right here, let's make this a little bit smaller too, is the copy feature that you know. So when you click on that, it automatically copies the home note, and then you would need to paste as a picture in Outlook. It's a separate pasting function. You need to take a look at that. It's not just paste, it's paste as a picture. If you paste it, you're going to get some formatting errors because it's going to want to paste it as an Excel file. And that's something for you to take a look at. So I think, frankly, it's easier to do the snip key because it automatically captured it as a picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close that, and I'm not going to save it because I didn't enter any data. And then it's going to return me. I just click on resume editing, it returns me to the online version. I think it's easier for home note, daily home note. Now weekly home note, you have to open up the desktop app and use that. copy function like it shows here. But for the online version, Shift Windows S, and it opens up that handy snipping function, and you just click, drag, and release, and now it's copied it, and then you can paste it. Now, just for clarity, I'm going to use I'm just going to bring up Word. Now, you would bring up Outlook. I have a different version of Outlook on my computer, but you just paste, and boom, there it is. So that's what it would look like. It just pastes at a picture. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of a review. I'm going to send you a file with your name on it. It's going to be a link to your official file. You can use the online version for entering data, which is really handy. And if you want to do anything else with TPS, you open in the desktop app. And when you do that, you always just want to save. Don't ever save as, because the save as file is going to put some file somewhere that's not going to be the official TPS file for you at Oak Park. Okay, well, that's it for this segment. I hope that that provides some clarity to what's going on with TPS. It's, as always, a tremendous pleasure to work with each of you, and I thank you for not only your participation but your support of TPS over the 10 years now that that has been developed. Okay, so once again, Lewis Weber signing off, and hopefully a successful TPS year for you.